Robot1 here, coming at you with a new Yu-Gi-Oh video, and in today's Yu-Gi-Oh video we are going to be talking about the top 5 decks you guys should be picking up before Master Rule 2020 or Master Rule 5 or whatever you basically want to call it. Like literally Master Rule Revised, Master Rule 2020, Master Rule 5. The Master Rule has a lot of names, okay? And I've not been making a lot of videos recently on it. I'm going to be doing some more like these soon, like tutorials on synchro summoning and stuff, because, you know, new players, get them into it, hopefully help them learn, and because a lot of people might be coming back to the game and stuff. But that's just a little announcement as well. But nonetheless, today we are going to be talking about the top 5 decks you lot should be picking up before Master Rule 2020. Because, well, before April 1st, obviously, because that's when the new Master Rule takes effect. But yeah, so this is the new Master Rule format video, and hopefully you guys will pick up these decks. Let's go with the first one, which is Plunder Patrol. Now, I think everybody should be picking up Plunder Patrol. It is a new deck that literally came out of Ignition Assault. It's one of the few things that you should actually be picking up from Ignition Assault overall, and there's a couple of reasons for this. One, this is probably going to be one of the best Master Rule 5 decks released before Master Rule 5 is actually out. This deck has actually a lot of potential going into the game, going on late in the game, especially when we get in Eternity Code. I was just trying to remember the name real quick. As soon as we get Eternity Code, and this deck could potentially be one of the biggest, most powerful decks in the game. And there's a couple of reasons for this. One, every monster in the deck basically makes a free Xyz or Synchro or Link monster, and potentially Fusion in the future, for free. If your opponent controls a dark, you're going to be baking the black ship, which can banish a monster and search a spell or trap. And if you're playing, I believe that's the right one, it might be the other way around, and if you're playing against the fire deck, you can summon the fire ship, which says, I'm going to banish a spell or trap card, and then add a monster from the deck to the hand. You can play, if your opponent plays water, you can summon Blackbeard, and then Blackbeard can go ahead and turn into any Plunder Patrol ship as well. Like, there's so many things that the Plunder Patrol deck has right now going for it that it's absolutely insane. Thinking what kind of potential this deck could have going down the line. Like, all this deck really is missing is a wind ship, a water ship, realistically, so Whitebeard can be, so Blackbeard doesn't have to be the only one. A water ship, a light ship, and a, oh God, what's the attribute that I'm thinking of? And an earth ship. Like literally, if this deck gets those ships plus more main deck cards, such as, I don't know, a rotor in general. The field spell is already absolutely insane, being able to discard a card to search any plunder card from the deck. But a rotor would be nice. More discard effects, such as, oh, I get to special summon a plunder from my graveyard when it's discarded, or I get to add a plunder monster from my deck to my hand when this card is discarded. Like, the deck can get so much, and the deck already has really insane cards, such as the field spell, such as the main deck monster Whitebeard that special summons a plunder from the deck, and also the trap card that is a Call of the Haunted / a recyclability card. Just being able to put back any plunder cut monster from your graveyard back into the extra deck or into the main deck, or summon the card and then change the attribute of a monster that your opponent controls. Like, Plunder Patrol have so much potential going into the future of Yu-Gi-Oh! That honestly, I don't know why no one would have picked it up already. Like, this deck is really good, this deck has a lot of potential, and honestly, I could see this deck getting better and better and better going on down the line. So that's just the first deck I wanted to talk about, because this deck is probably one of the more interesting decks on this list, because it's definitely a card deck that you should all try to pick up. But next on this list is the Invokers, the Invoked deck. You should definitely pick up a core of Invoked, and there's a couple of reasons for this in general. One, Master Rule 5 hits. Oh, look, I can now fusion summon to any zone again. Sounds pretty good. Basically, Invoked is literally going to be one of the best decks in Master Rule 5 for a couple of reasons. One, it mixes well with Shadow. The Shadow Invoke deck is already making huge waves in the game, and when we hit Master Rule 5, where we don't really need to make Link monsters anymore, this deck is going to go through the roof. And two, Invoked on its own is already an insane deck, being able to top YCS's, regionals, all sorts of events with ease and not really care, because of like the deck utilizes so many things, such as the Mech Knights, uses tons of hand traps, goes second very easily, can go first very easily. Like, no matter how I look at these decks, Invoke just seems to be really good, and even in Eternity Code, the deck is getting more support in the form of a new fusion monster that makes the deck even better. So why not pick up this deck now while it's still... It's not really that cheap right now, to be honest, because of the Shadow hype and stuff, but it's a deck that you should pick up because it's going to only get more expensive. Like, the Super Invocations are £25 each. That's insane how this card is so expensive. So if you get it now, instead of getting it later, you'll get it for a lot cheaper. The deck will be even more expensive in Master Rule 5, being that you can just summon fusions anywhere, being that it will be easy to make stuff like Mechaba, Purgatorio, if you're playing the Shadow build, Winder, Construct. Like, literally... Invoked is a deck that everybody should be picking up right now, just because Master Rule 5 is only on the horizon, and when MR5 comes out, it's just going to be absolutely insane, and it's going to be so hard to pick up. So, Invoked, definitely a deck that everybody should be considering picking up, seeing as it just gets so much more insane in the MR5 format. But next, a deck that I personally think that people should be picking up for a couple of reasons, and that is Satellanites. Now, Satellanites... they're not as powerful as maybe Invoked or potential of Plunder Patrol, but this deck in general died because Master Rule 5. This deck in Master Rule 5 will come back with a force. This deck is basically DUEA format trap-based deck. Think of Altergeist, but needing the extra deck. This deck is going to be absolutely insane, just for the fact that a card called Stellar Knight Trigger exists. And basically, what you do is, on your turn, you summon Trigger, return all cards to your hand. Some of those are floodgates, some of those are trap cards. So, yeah, no, just good cards. Let your opponent play their turn, negate some of their stuff that could potentially kill you, make another Trigger on your turn. Basically, you're going to continuously loop Trigger constantly in Tellarknights and stop your opponent from playing the game. Now, obviously, this deck is very similar to Altergeist in the fact that it relies on traps, it's very control heavy, but literally, this deck will come back with a fury for a couple of reasons. One, the Trigger loop. Two, it's very good in the game. Even now, like in lower class formats, like I've been able to top a big event, a big low tier event, I would say, but it's like 2.5 is a big tournament in the Brotherhood. And I was able to top that with Tellarknights very easily, and I believe Tellarknights even won that event. And Tellarknights are just insane in general because Trigger Loop is nuts. Like, just being able to put all the floodgates on your board back into your hand, and then set the floodgates so your opponent has to deal with them again, being able to utilize traps, being very consistent, being able to just continuously gain back resources with Trigger. Like, literally, you play cards like Call of the Haunted, because you literally Call of the Haunted on the Trigger summon, return monsters from your grave to your hand. Like, literally, this deck becomes even better. It also has really good cards such as Stellar Knight, Constellar Diamond, because it literally says, oh, you can't send cards from your deck to your graveyard. Ah, nice Shadow Fusion you got there. You can't use it very well. Oh, you want to use a Dark Effect? Nah, it's negated because my Diamond has an effect that says Detach a Material and Negate. And it's just like, I don't see the problem with this deck. I literally feel like this deck is just going to come back in a fury in MR5, and Tellarknights will definitely see more slots. And even though Demise and stuff is at 1, it doesn't matter. You can play without Demise. And hell, you can even do cheeky burn damage with that Alsham. You get what I mean? Like, Tellarknights, they're good, and they will come back with a storm, in my opinion. So it's a deck you guys should definitely consider picking up. And I believe it's quite cheap now, being able to pick up a core for probably around 50 quid. So definitely a good option to pick up, nonetheless. Next, Lunalights. Lunalights is a deck that right now has it's like an on-off sort of thing right now, where you need like Magician's Souls, you need all sorts of these other cards. But in general, you should be picking up a Lunalight core. Just a basic Lunalight core. No Magician Souls, nothing along those lines. You should just have a Lunalight core on the side for MR5. And there's a couple of reasons for this. One, fusion build. Still really good. Being able to just OTK out of nowhere. But two, the main reason, this deck puts any amount of Xyz monsters on the board as possible. you want to end on a board with multiple Xyz monsters such as Babushka, Nightmare, Time Thief, potentially Winder if you want to go that route with a Light Dragon, you can do that. You can do that very easily in Lunalights, and personally, I feel like everybody should have a Lunalight core as well. Like, I've slowly gathered up a Lunalight core over the last couple of weeks. Finally got the trap card for quite cheap, I would say. It was still a bit expensive, but I have a Lunalight deck now. I'm working on a list. Don't worry, there will be a deck profile at some point. But this deck, everybody should have, because in MR5, the deck just gets even more broken. Now, right now, obviously, the deck, the Lunalight builds that we're seeing are the Roingo variants. But you know, in MR5, those Roingo variants get even better. You're able to now put on not only a Kaliuga board, but you're also able to put a VFD there as well. If you choose to go with, like, you can choose between either route, the VFD route or the Kaliuga route now. So if you're going first and you don't know what your opponent's playing, you can literally just summon both and look at your opponent. Like, literally, well, you could summon a Dark level 8 and a Dark rank 8 and a Dark rank 7, and then you can just look at your opponent and be like, oh, you're playing that deck? Cool, I'll go into the VFD instead. Oh, I'll go into the Kaliuga instead. You have different options now, while also being able to do this more consistently, because you don't need to rely on a Link monster to be able to do it. If you don't want to go that route and you want to go like the Winder route, where you play like the Light Dragons, Babushka, Winder, you can go that route as well, because you don't need to rely on Links anymore, so you can just go the Xyz route, where you literally just say, oh, I'm going to make this Xyz here, this Xyz here, this Xyz here, this Xyz here. Literally, you just go pure Xyz monsters, and you can have a board of like maybe 4 Xyz monsters at a time. No, you could potentially have 5 Xyz monsters because the extra monster zone exists. So like, it's just like, you got to look at these kind of things where it's like, will this deck be good? And I feel like Lunalights is definitely one of those decks as well that will be very, very good. Now, last deck that we're going to be talking about is Draco Pals. Now, hear me out. This deck recently won an event in YCS Utrecht. It won the MR5 event at YCS Utrecht. Now, I've had my eye on Draco Pals for a while, thinking, oh, this deck could come back. It's not the best. It has potential. But in all honesty, Draco Pals can come back with a storm. I've been testing the deck more and more recently, and I've been realizing this deck is actually going to be insane in MR5. Just the fact that you can go through the whole Draco engine and play like Rescue Rabbits and stuff to be able to get to your Dracos a lot easier, while also playing other cards such as like the Magician engine in the deck. Like, Draco Pals in general just get a lot more powerful. Now, obviously the powers are kind of gone because like Performer powers aren't in the deck, but it's now Draco Magicians, and it's like, hey, I'm gonna go nuts and you're not going to be able to stop me. So it's just like, you go whole rank 4 turbo, you can go end on a dragon, you can end on a Hope Harbinger, Herald of Heavenly Spheres, and like a Dweller as well at times. Rescue Rabbit equals so many different combos in the deck. You can go full Guard Dragon combo where you end on some really dumb boards. Like, this deck has so many intricate little things, plus it's able to play the Utopia double package as well, because everything in the deck is a level 4, so you literally just go rank 4 spam. And if you want to play a rank 4 spam build as well, you have that option. You have the option to go rank 4 spam instead of just literally, oh, I'm gonna, you know what, we're doing that with my hair. I've been filling my hair this whole time and it's a bloody mess, but hey, whatever. But you have the options to go into so many different things in Draco Pals. You could go for a rank 4 turbo build. You could go for just the standard Hope Harbinger, Dragon Link combo, Dragon combo end board. You could go so many routes in this deck, and it's just really insane because the deck has so much potential overall, because the deck is a pendulum deck that was just so busted in MR4 and MR3 because the deck literally just had infinite resources. Oh, you want to try an Ariadne package? Sure, you can put 3 Ariadnes in there and maybe some counter traps. Oh, you want to play more of a hand trap center build? Throw some hand traps in there. There's definitely room. Like, I've made it to make room, and I've been able to fit at least 6 hand traps in there, maybe even 9 at times. It's a little cloggy with 9, but you can still play a decent amount of hand traps. Like, you can play any sort of build of Draco Pals you want right now, and there's just so many potential ways to play the deck that it's definitely worth a pickup. So, guys, these are 5 decks that you should be picking up before Master Rule 5. I definitely think all of these decks are definitely really good options to play. for multiple reasons, such as just being really good in MR5, like going into multiple different areas, such as Synchro, Xyz, Fusion. Draco Pals can do all of it with Pendulum and Link, so it can do every summoning mechanic except for Ritual. There's no real Ritual deck in MR5 that might be good. Maybe Necros again. Necros have potential, but that's not on this video. But yeah, guys, all of these decks have potential, the most potential in MR5. I feel like all of these decks will have the most potential. I feel like they'll be the greatest deck, some of the greatest decks in MR5. Tellarknights, yes, it's a bit of a long shot because of obviously you need to go first at times, but you can offset that by mainly evenly matched and stuff, which is why I kind of put it here as well. And Triffer is just such a busted card. The Plunder Patrols, they just need their more support. They just need more support. That's all they need. And then the rest of these decks are kind of obvious to be on this list. But guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I really do enjoy these kind of videos, and I will be making more of them soon. More stand-up talking videos, because, hey, I enjoy these kind of videos. So I hope you enjoyed it. And guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the link in the description to go to my Twitch page. I stream Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Tuesdays, video games. Mondays, I play meta decks, and on Thursdays I do casual, where I just have a bunch of fun. So hopefully you'll come and check that out. But guys, thank you so much for watching. As I said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to see more good content, and I will see you guys in the next one. Robotbat1 signing out. Sorry for my messy hair. Can't do anything about it.